This is Light Talk, a light-hearted discussion on issues close to your body, mind, and spirit. Light Talk is brought to you by Bliss Oasis Ministries, a metaphysical arm of Bliss Oasis Africa, a counseling and life coaching company. You are invited to participate by sending comments or questions, writing them on the comments or description section below. Please subscribe and share. And now to the discussion, brought to you by Wanjiru Muthe and Patrick Ngugi. Welcome.
Hi, and welcome again to Light Talk. Light Talk is a program that brings you info, tricks, tips about life. And in this episode, in this series, we've been talking about 11 Forgotten Laws by Bob Proctor. When I say by Bob Proctor, I mean they were unveiled by him. These are laws of the universe. There are many laws of the universe, but these are the 11 ones that Bob Proctor, an international motivational speaker, who unveiled them and reminded them as such, reminded the world about them. And the 11 of them, we are not going to talk about all of them right now. If you like to know which ones are there, you can go back to our previous videos. But this is the fourth episode. In the first episode, we introduced those laws. You can see them in this channel. And then in the second episode, we talked about the first of the laws, which is the law of thinking. For a long story, so we had to do a part 2 of law of thinking in episode number 2. And then in episode number 2, we did law of thinking, and then we had to do episode 3, a follow-up to that. And this is the fourth episode, and we are doing the second law, or rather, yes, the second law, which is the law of supply. My name is Patrick Ngugi, and welcome. And my co-host is Wanjiru Muthe. Karibu Wanjiru, salimia watazamaji.
Thank you so much, Ngugi, for that beautiful introduction. My name is Wanjiru Muthe, the co-host. Or I might actually say I'm more of a guest here. But also a co-host. Yeah, we've been discussing the forgotten laws, and we have already looked at the law of thinking, where we say that we are what we think, that whatever we create around us is as a result of the kind of thoughts that we do have every day. I remember last time we said that we should have beautiful thoughts all the time. Okay, practically it may not be possible to have positive thoughts throughout, but as much as possible, when you catch yourself having negative thoughts, then try to get into a positive mood, as it actually even reduces stress. And now today we shall be discussing the law of supply, which Mr. Patrick is going to tell us what it is.
Yes.
And then I'll come in with discussions of my wild thoughts.
Yeah, no problem. Welcome again. Welcome there, and welcome everybody who is watching and listening. And if it's the first time you are here in this channel, please subscribe and share so that more and more people can get can enjoy the information that we share in this program. And as we go along, you can comment and also ask questions, challenge us to explain more, and also comment about what we are discussing. So today we are talking about the law of supply, and I'm going to share the screen so that we can read what the law of supply is all about before we discuss it. And this is what it's all about. And I think, Wanjiru, can you read for us?
Yes, the law of supply says that everything comes from one infinite supply, God, or the intelligence. I hope infinite is the same thing. This intelligence wants to grow and express itself through you, since the entire life is to grow. The universe expands in all direction. There is no lack, only in mind. You must be ready to receive. Think abundance, and that there is enough for you and everyone. No need to compete or fight or feel jealous. Worry not what you will wear or eat. The universe does not restrict or limit what we could achieve, but we do if we allow it. That's the law of supply.
That is the law of supply. And as you can,
The law of supply.
yes, and as you can see, somewhere along the, if we share the screen again, somewhere along the law, particularly on the last line, we are told to think abundance, and that there is enough for everyone, for you and everyone. No need to compete or fight or feel jealous. So here we can see again this law is somehow connected with the first law of thinking, because we are told to think abundance, and there's enough for everyone.
Yeah.
So the point here is think. Now, the gist of this law is the fact that God is generous. Yeah, and if we look at the creation part of it, when you go to the Genesis, and Genesis is actually copied from many other earlier scriptures from many other, ancient world. Many people don't know, but Genesis, the book of Genesis and part of Genesis of the Bible, Old Testament, is actually copied from earlier books of Sumeria, Hindu, and so on. But many people would not like to believe that anyway. When you look at the creation story, you see that God created everything before he created man. Before he created Adam and Eve, he created everything, the trees, the rocks, water, and stuff. Why? So that he can give it to the person, to the man. And there was abundance of it and beauty. Everything was beautiful. Everything was beautiful, and it was in abundance, and everything was given to man. Yeah, meaning he and the wife Eve did not lack. I think they only lacked the fruit, which they had to go and eat to get wisdom. But there was no lack. And since then, even now, there's no lack, because even the person who can be said to be poor, in quotes, an abject, they call it abject poverty, even that person, you can walk in a supermarket or the market, and that person who is so poor is surrounded by what? Wealth. It's only that he or she doesn't know how to attract it. But abundance is all over. Look at it. How much do you pay for the air you breathe?
None.
The water we drink, okay, water saa ingine hapa hakuna maji ama kwingine hakuna maji, but there's enough. It's only that maybe some people are holding, like Nairobi, they sell water while there's supposed to be pipes all over for everybody. But abundance is there, and we don't lack anything. We lack because the first law, we break the first law. We think negatively. We think we can't get, we think we don't have, and we keep on perpetuating that. But those who may not be so much, those who are watching and maybe not so much into the Bible, and I said Bible is connected to many other books, even the sayings of Jesus Christ was spoken much before earlier. Love your neighbor, the golden rule. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. He was not the first, Jesus was not the first person to say that. And the golden rule wasn't there before, was still there before. But what I'm saying is, worry not of what you're going to eat or what you're going to wear. You should not worry about it, because you will always have something something will always be supplied to you. Over to you. So you can comment
Okay,
or ask a
okay.
question.
You know, let me start by talking about as a former Christian, as a
Former.
I am a former Christian. I mostly am likely to base my examples with Christianity teachings because that is what has been exposed to me a lot growing up.
Yeah.
So one of the Bible verses, I think somewhere in the gospel, it says, "Ask and it shall be given to you." You know,
Yeah.
ask and it shall be given to you. I
Yes.
think even in Kikuyu, in Catholic, I'm a born Catholic. So there's a song that we used to sing. Okay, my voice is bad, but there was a song that is used to be sung like "Hoyai hoyai tibero no mokuheo," like that. So it means, for those who don't understand Kikuyu, say pray, 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 and you will be given. So now, coming to this concept of the law of supply, actually, what I'm getting from it, it's like there is abundance. There is a lot. There is no limitation to what the universe can actually provide to us.
Yeah.
And the only thing that we need to do again is go back the first law, which is the law of thinking, and have the ability to create good thoughts, and then that reality will be supplied to us.
Yes.
Will be supplied to us.
Yes.
Well, of course, just thinking and waiting for supply to happen is not the magic, because if it was that easy, we would all think money and wait for supply to give us money.
As
What
I said,
I am getting is
yes, as we saw in the law,
Mhm.
as we saw in the law of supply, you have to be ready. You have not just asking, ask and it shall be given. Given as in you believe first of all you have asked and it is coming to you, but you don't wait for it. You go for it. Yeah, you go for it. And how do you go for it? You start doing activities that will manifest whatever you are looking for.
Uh-huh.
It's not like you just sit there and wait. It won't come to you.
Correct.
It won't come to you. Yeah, you have to receive.
No,
And again,
no.
one way of
You
not
have
receiving,
mm,
one way of not receiving
mhm.
is starting to doubt whether you will receive it.
Uh-huh.
Because doubting will start
Yes.
sending the process
Mhm.
in reverse. And so you don't get.
Correct. And
Yeah.
yeah, and also that's very important. There is also let me also base this argument with the Christian teaching, which another thing that Jesus taught about having faith. That if you have even a small faith, if a little faith, the size of a mustard seed,
Yes.
you can move mountains. So now, if we look at that concept, is a concept of not having doubt. Is a concept of when you think of what you would want to receive, then believe and work towards it, and you see that you're going to actually receive. I don't know if, Mr. Patrick, you have an example of your life where you actually thought about something and then it was applied to you. Do you have any example in your life you tell us a time when you were supplied?
Yeah.
Because for me,
no, a lot of things we desire, we may not identify by pointing at them, but a lot of things we desire and positively believe they are coming, we get them. That's why we are here.
We get them, yes.
Yeah, that's why we are here, and they are always coming. But another thing I wanted to point out to you, as I said earlier on, is Christianity or Christians appeared, the word Christians appeared about 100 years or so after Christ. There was nothing like Christians. And they were given that name by people who did not believe in Jesus, so that they would describe those people They would describe those people who follow, but then Christian is an English name. In English, there was no English there. But followers of Christ, followers of Jesus Christ were given that name by other people because they were followers. You get it? The teachings that Jesus gave are universal. They are universal. Are you with me? Meaning, for example, let's look, okay, 10 commandments were not given by Jesus, yeah? But the 10 commandments, whether you're a Christian or not, you break them, you're in trouble. The laws, the commandments, the law, the message from Jesus are all universal. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. It's not a Christian law. Jesus just came to remind us, those who had forgotten about it. But the golden rule, for example, love your neighbor or do unto others as you like to do them, as you like them to do to you. Even the Buddha was saying it before Jesus came. The Buddha, in India, they were giving these laws. So Jesus kind of came to remind us, as the Israelites, wale wa huko wakati huo, and sisi pia, because apparently people have forgotten. Because you remember, the law of Moses was like an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, revenge. But that's not a universal law. The universal law is forgive and you'll be forgiven. Love and you'll be loved. Kitu kama hizo. So the same way with when we talk about, earlier on you mentioned the faith, about receiving, you have to be ready to receive. We are talking about the law of supply. You have to be ready to receive after you have asked, because the supply is there. But most of the time we are not receiving, we are just wondering where it is coming from, instead of just believing and knowing you are going to receive. The faith of the mustard seed doesn't mean, okay, it may mean as little faith as the mustard seed. But the other way of looking at it, if you have the faith of the mustard seed knows and believes, it has faith that one day it will grow and be as big as a tree. Wewe ukiwa mdogo, as small as you are, believe one day you're going to be big. That's the other meaning of as small as a mustard seed. The faith inside the mustard seed. Not as little faith as the mustard seed itself. So how big is your faith?
Yeah, that is where we were talking about not having doubts when receiving, because that is likely to inhibit the aspect of supply. Because once you have doubts, then it is like a restricting force. It's like a restricting force that is pushing away the supply. You need faith, you need doing, you need action, you need to think properly for supply to come. Failure to that, it will just be faith without action,
Yes.
Na ndege inapita.
Yeah. Ndege inapita huko, inaenda kuleta supply.
Yeah, kuleta supply. So yeah, the concept more, the law of supply, to me, it looks like thinking in plenty, thinking in avoiding the limitations in your mind that may make you think that you're not worth of receiving whatever it is that you are looking for.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. It could be anything. It could be whatever it is that you're thinking that you need to receive. Think in wide, think in width, very big width, if that is correct English. Don't think of what if not. Just open your mind to receive and then work towards it. It will definitely work. But you do realize that with these laws, there's also the concept of manifestation that has become very popular in the contemporary spiritual world, and people are just sitting down to manifest. They say, today I have seen it is the date 8th, the golden gate is opening. I'm going to sit down and wait to receive. Things don't just work like that. You have to think positively, then action towards that. Don't just sit and think that the law of supply said we think and we receive. Hakuna, lazima ufanye kazi. In one of these mythical stories by Gekoyo and Mombi, they talk about of a woman who was called Washo, not Wahu, Washo. Do you know the story of Washo?
Was she one of the daughters of Gekoyo?
Washo was like
was she one of the daughters?
No. Yeah.
Okay.
No.
All right. Tell us about Washo.
The story about Washo goes like this. Was like the woman who was not, the wife who was not loved by the husband, and so when the husband prepared a feast, he forgot to invite Washo. So Washo decided to go to farm kwa shamba lake. So when she's there, a hawk came and stole meat from the feast of the husband. It stole a very hot piece of meat. So as it was running away, flying away, not running away, my goodness. As it was flying away, the meat became too hot for it to keep holding. So it released it. Where does it release it? Where Washo was farming. So in Kikuyu, we normally say that Washo Mugoda. Like they found Washo in the Washo had really wished to have the meat, but the husband had denied her. But she went on to doing her business. Still found her. The meat still found her.
Yes.
So if Washo just stayed in the house sulking, saying, "Oh, I still want meat," but she just stayed in the house, she would not have gotten a piece of meat that the hawk let go. So now, well, that story may not really bring out the concept of supply, but it shows you that when Washo went to the farm, she said, let her go do the farming, that she will get the money to buy her own meat.
Yes.
But that didn't even happen in the long run before the hawk brings in the meat. What does that show actually? That when you want something, you have to do something towards that objective. And the supply will come it might come in different ways.
Yes.
The supply is not limited. You might be thinking that the supply will come from this direction, but the first thing that you have done is to think positively and think towards what you want. Now, the role of the universe from there is to give you what you have desired. So think in abundance and think without limitation.
Yes.
Think towards your goal, and it is going to be supplied to you in large amounts or in whatever amount that you can picture in your mind.
Yeah, it's true. It's true, and it is connected with the law of supply, because one way of the supply works, the law of supply works, is when you desire, okay, whether you desire or not, the supply is still there. But when you desire something and pray about it, sending positive thoughts about it, and then release the thoughts. You don't hang on the thoughts. You don't hang on them as looking at the root, digging to see whether the seed is growing and how it's growing. Release it.
You release.
Yeah, you release the desire. Let it go. The universe will send it back.
Yeah, this common song that goes like "Tenda wema nenda zako," something like that. Like you do your good and then
do your
that
good.
Is another way of interpreting the law of supply, because when you do something small to someone, the universe will supply that back in large amounts. And and some also the universe also supplies bad things. Don't just think that the universe supplies just good things. It does supply bad things in large amount as well. That is what we like saying, karma does not miss an address. So you keep on walking around here doing bad things to people, thinking that you can get away with it. It will come back. That is like a seed you have planted, and the supply for that, it will come back in large folds. So in whatever that we are doing, this is what I'm getting from this law of supply. We are going to get it back in large amounts.
Yeah, because the human, the human person, the man, the woman, people, you and I, we are all magnets.
Correct.
And we attract what we are thinking passionately, whether negative or positive. And the supply is there. It's like, supply is like a huge tank with different kind of taps. Yeah, and that huge tank has everything in it. And the way to open the supply is using your mind, and then using your mind and going for it. So if you use your mind negatively, you will get negativity, and that will supply around you.
You know, when we keep on talking about supply, people might think that you're talking about the material possession, but in realistic, that is just one part of it. There is also the aspect of, I think, personalities or the kind of energy that we vibrate towards other people.
Yeah.
For example, if all you do is complain,
yes,
you're going to get such kind of energy back to you in large supplies. You understand? So your work is to see negativity. Your work is to see bad things in other people. That is what you'll be attracting. That is what you'll be getting. That is the supply the universe will be giving you back in large amounts.
Yes.
Like I know of a man who never sees anything good in other people. Oh, this one is bad. Oh, this one is not. There is always negativity around this person. They never. That is basically their life, because you never see anything good from other people. So that is what you are attracting. That is what the universe is supplying to you in large amounts.
Yes.
So while we might be thinking that supply is only related to material possession, I also think that supply is also related to how we see other people, the kind of energy that we vibrate to other people, how we feel towards other people. Do you feel jealous, envy, negative vibes? Is that what you're getting to? Is that what you're vibrating? But then you also see that people who vibrate nice energies like love, they also tend to attract that, although not all the time. But I think supply comes in all dimensions, in everything, literally everything.
Yeah, and we're immersed in abundance, in supply. How we get it is the way we visualize, the way we see. And again, this person you are talking about, this person who is always thinking negative, are they happy? When you look at them, how do they look like? Are they happy, or they are full of stress? Are they smiling? When they are talking about whatever bad thing, are they happy?
No.
They are always criticizing. Even they, maybe not loudly, whenever they are alone, they must be criticizing themselves. Yeah?
Yes.
Bad things about them. They don't love themselves because they have no love to give, even to themselves. And therefore, the whole world is a bad place. But you meet a person, a generous person. Have you ever met a generous person who is sulking or who is mad about somebody?
Most of the time, no.
No, they're always happy because whatever they have, they give out. And they receive. Whatever they're giving, they receive.
Yes.
It may not be the money they're giving out, but there's some joy, there's some peace, there's some goodness that comes to them. Just because of
sometimes
just by giving love, by giving material, gifts like money, like food to the poor, anything, but they are generous. They're always happy because they're always getting generosity of the universe. Yeah.
All right. Yes.
This
Yes.
person
You
who,
know,
this
sometimes.
person who is negative,
Mhm.
this person who is negative is always deducting goodness from everything, including themselves. And therefore,
Yes.
whatever thing they might have within themselves is also removed. So they become depressed and the like.
Yes. It looks like my point has disappeared, but
Get it. You will get it.
yeah, I wanted to say that sometimes you want to think that if I give out or if I am to receive something, okay, if I'm generous, I should give Patrick 100, then the universe is going to supply me with 200. The problem is when people start applying these laws, they apply it with conditions that I'm expecting to get this because I have done this. I'm expecting this law of supply to give me millions because I have given a few thousand. But the bad thing about the universe, it is not conditional. The universe is not conditional, or rather what people would say, God is not conditional.
Unconditional love.
Yes, God is not conditional. If you give out something expecting a certain return, it's never gonna happen. It's not, and that is why you have talked about releasing something.
Yes.
Those people who are very generous, they release, they give out. What does the universe supply back to them? It can be in form of happiness. It can be in form of ability to even help more people. It can be in form of ability, wisdom. It can be supply can be in different forms. That is also something else that I think that you don't always receive exactly what you are giving out.
Not really, and whatever you are receiving may be more, but when you give conditionally, you also get conditionally. Because what
you don't even get anything. When you give conditionally, you don't even get anything.
That is getting conditionally.
That is transactional business, and I don't think the universe is involved in transactional kind of a thing.
Yes, and we are told the measure you give is the measure you will get. So the way you are giving, is the way you will get. But if you give because you are expecting, you will get, but maybe not what you expect. You get it? And because when you're giving because you expect, that's giving conditionally. Meaning, whatever you will get, it will come with condition, but this condition will be imposed by yourself. I wanted this much didn't come, so I'm still waiting. Until when?
There's a discussion that I have seen somewhere a few minutes ago about about black tax. You know what black tax is?
Black tax?
Yes.
That's new
okay. So black tax is where a parent brings up a child and then expects that this child is supposed to give back when the parent is a bit older or not even older. When the parent, because the parent invested in a child, they are expecting the child to pay back something. Now, in most of the cases where black tax has brought a lot of challenges, and it's a one of form of conditional kind of giving, because the parent is expecting that when this child is of a certain age, they should start giving me back what I invested in them. Then you ask yourself, is that really how it should be? Is that how it should be? Because you invested in me, I'm expecting that there's almost an entitlement that comes with it. So when that thing happens, there's always a tussle, like kuvutana oh, I took you to school, oh, you should do this. You see now, you are supplying the universe with expectations and conditions. Now, the universe is also giving you back with expectations and conditions, and that is where the friction comes in.
Yeah, it's true.
That is just one form of conditional giving and conditional.
Yeah, because it's your duty as a parent. As a parent, it's your duty to nurture this, the offspring, to adulthood, and then release. As we are talking about release.
Release.
Yes.
Right.
And again, if the child is wise enough, they should remember where they came from. They're not conditioned to, they have to give, but they should also know and appreciate their parents.
They should also know that by giving, they are also attracting, also getting a certain supply. It shouldn't be, the thing that is an issue is the entitlement. Once you expect with entitlement, then the law of supply is not going to work.
I think
once you release,
I think you know about the prodigal son.
Yes.
The father, when the young man wanted to go away to the world, the father released him. He did not expect much, but he released him to go to the world. Although he missed the boy, but he released him.
But that story, the most interesting bit, when the prodigal son story is talked about, people tend to focus on the father and the prodigal son.
Yeah.
There's an aspect that I like focusing on, and it is the aspect of the other son who was left at home. That son was complaining a lot. I have been the good one.
He was in the midst of abundance, but he didn't see it.
Correct.
Entitlement.
Himself, he had a lot of entitlement.
Yes.
Because I've been the good one, I should be the one receiving this kind. For him, it wasn't to do with it. He had a lot of conditions. If you listen to that story, because he's expecting to be treated in a certain way, because he has been behaving in a certain way.
And I think if it was given,
again, he missed it. He missed the whole concept of supply.
Yes. And again, if he was the father, he would have put the son to be one of the servants. Afanya kazi huko. Akae na nguruwe. If he was given the opportunity to decide.
So now, as I was saying, we should always focus on attracting, or not attracting. I know, we're going to talk about the law of attraction next. That is why I think my mind keeps on saying attracting. Let us release so that we can actually receive, because there is a lot in the universe. There is a lot. But we cannot doing it with entitlement and conditions.
No.
What do you say, Mr. Ngugi?
So giving with a sense of entitlement or with conditions is like negating the whole thing, because already we are made, the way we are created to receive, because God, our universe is general, it's supposed to give, but we are given according to our belief. And in fact, it is said somewhere, you have been healed according to your faith. Because of your faith, you have been healed. So due to our faith, we also receive. Yeah. And as we mentioned previously, if you remember, I think you were doing a lot of thinking. You will see many slums. Many slums are next to affluent estates, big estates. Like Madara is not very far from Muthaiga or something like that. Kibagare is not very far from Russia, and so on. Why? Because the people who work for these big guys in the big estates live in the slums. So they don't live far, so asubuhi wanamka, they go to work. I think the one near industrial area, what is called? There's no slum there, but they're there because they can be near to their workplace. But because of mass consciousness. The way they think, they get stuck there. They are poor, and what they receive is poverty. They are supplied with poverty because that's what they keep on focusing on. But if they can change their way of thinking, as law number 1 says, they can start receiving even bigger. Thinking with faith, they can get even bigger, and so on. But this subject is wide, and as we are coming to the end of the program, if you have a comment or you want to ask a question, we ask you to comment down in the description space below and ask your question and comment, and also like and share and subscribe in this video. So we are coming to an end, Wanjiro, and we talked about the law of supply, because the supply is all over. Next time we are talking about the law of attraction, which many people know about. We have 1 minute to go. Any last comments?
I don't have much to say. I think I have aired on my thoughts or my wild thoughts. But what I would say is let us learn to be present in our mind so that we know what we are thinking and what we are likely to receive from the universe. The first step is to be aware. Once you're aware of these things happening, it becomes quite easy. Yes, I don't have much to say other than think positively. I keep saying attracting. Attracting will be next episode.
You're going to say next week.
So that you receive much. Thank you so much for watching this channel. Keep coming, keep giving your views as well. Maybe you have divergent views, maybe you have different opinion. We welcome all that. And interact with us, Mr. Ngudi.
Yeah, thank you very much. And the thing is to expect to receive. You expect, you desire, you expect to receive, but you don't doubt, because when you start doubting, that's what you get, lack. So thank you very much for being with us. And Wanjiro, until next week, thank you for being with me in this episode. Tutazidi kuonana. All the best.